Cubs made a couple of significant changes on their coaching staff. Not super significant, but significant. And I'm going to tell you why. What does that signal? Are these the guys that caused the Cubs their collapse in September? We're going to talk about that right here on the Cubs baseball channel. But before we do, make sure that you like and subscribe. If you're a Cubs fan and you want great content, we want you to be here. It's really easy to do and it's free. Make sure you hit the bell so you know when we're dropping new content. And if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. And our program right now, our channel is brought to you by the Tennessee Smokies. That's the Cubs AA affiliate. They broke their 45-year drought. Maybe a curse, who knows? But they won their first championship since 1978, and they filled their team store with some great championship swag. I know you guys love to look fresh. Check it out, smokiesbaseball.com/store. All right, so here's the moves that were announced by John Heyman of the New York Post. He said that two guys weren't coming back. So, it's not like you go in and say, hey, you're fired, but they're not renewing their contract. One of those guys is bullpen coach Chris Young, and the other guy is like his tag team partner, and that is Craig Driver. And these are significant moves because it really signals that the Cubs are doing a deep dive right now into their coaching staff. And a lot of times when you see stuff like this, it leads to, hey, if you don't get it done next year, we're going to make even bigger changes across the coaching staff, right? So Chris Young, the bullpen coach, and then game strategy and catching coach Craig Driver. And you say, well, what's the significance of this? Well, first off, Young, who was hired by Ross in 2019, was the first guy that he hired when he took over as the manager of the team. So obviously, he trusts and likes Chris Young, and this is probably something that's difficult for him. But you're trying to find some new energy, and this is why. Is Young tied with, and maybe is he the guy that's kind of taking the sword, falling on it for the 7-15 finish down the stretch? Not the way that you would expect a team as good as the Cubs were playing to end. A lot of us thought that not only would they make the playoffs, but they would win the division. They didn't do either. So is it Young's fault that the team did so poorly down the stretch? I don't know. I don't think that's really a fair assessment, right? I mean, the Cubs are without some of their top guys. Their closer, Adbert Alzolay, was used up and injured. Right? You didn't have Brad Boxberger. You didn't have Michael Fulmer. There were some other guys that could have helped out. And when Alzolay went down, at times Al Leiter Jr. and Merriweather looked tired. So it wasn't like anyone was able to step up and fill those roles. And I don't know that that's the bullpen coach or the catching coach's fault. Obviously the bullpen really didn't do too bad. I mean, when you look at their numbers, they were ranked 14th in Major League Baseball and still ended up with a 3.85 ERA. Could it be that the Cubs pull their starting pitchers really early? And that's kind of a strategy that they have. But the problem with that is if your starters only go 5 innings, then you've got to make up the other 4 innings in the back of the bullpen or in the bullpen, right? So if your starter went 6 innings, then you only have to do 3. And if he goes 7 innings, you only have to do 2. We never see teams, or at least the Cubs anyway, get a whole lot of guys into the 7th inning. I mean, it's happened, Justin Steele and Javier Assad and Marcus Stroman early in the year. But I think that would have helped the bullpen a lot, but it's kind of where this game's changed, since where it used to be and where it is now. It used to be the starters expected to pitch 7 innings. Now, if they pitch 7 innings, you're ready to throw them a parade. These guys came over together, so this is probably why the move is at the same time. Both guys were with the Phillies, Young and Driver, then came over to the Cubs to join David Ross's staff. And as this team moves forward, you're just curious, what does a move like this mean? What does it say? Does it say that the front office, Jed Hoyer or David Ross, and we don't know who made the decision on this, feel like those guys could have contributed more? Maybe they feel like, the communication might not have been as good as they wanted, or maybe it's just to get some new energy and some new blood and some new ideas in there. All in all, though, this is the first real significant coaching move after the collapse that the Cubs had down the stretch. And, I guess a lot of the speculation is that Chris Young somehow is tied to that 7-15 finish. I don't buy it, but I think that's kind of what people are thinking right now. So we'll keep an eye on what's going on as the Cubs make more moves and change the coaching staff and make moves in the front office. We'll try to keep an eye on that and see if it makes a difference next year. Personally, you feel like these moves are really insignificant because, how much of a say does the bullpen coach or the catching coach really have over how things go down on the field? They did really well until the team got hurt, so is it their fault that they got hurt? I don't know. I think it's just kind of the way that we do things in life. Somebody's got to get pinned with the responsibility. So apparently Chris Young and Craig Driver are those two guys right now. Give me your opinions. What do you guys think? You think that it's their fault? I know a lot of you are kind of fed up with David Ross, so you pin a lot of the responsibility on him. I've seen Jed Hoyer taking the rap for, maybe not giving the Cubs a good enough roster to work with. Maybe it's none of their faults. Maybe it's just bad luck. Guys got hurt. But get in the comments section, drop your comments in, and we'll try to respond to all of them. But we appreciate everyone's opinion, and thanks for being here, the Cubs Baseball Channel. And if you're not a subscriber, hey, it's easy to do. Be part of it. We're going to keep on going throughout the offseason. We're going to have some fun. We got some cool shows coming up. Even going to play some games. So go Cubs. Thank you.